Hello. I've been missing in action. I know. I've been working on a script that's kicking my butt. It is kicking my buttocks. I'm having difficulty with it. It's the most difficult thing I've ever written. And if I've just popped up on your feed, by the way, and you've never seen me before, hello. My name is Zet. I'm a writer, script writer, and a script editor. And I'm currently working on a script um, for a project that is already in development. It's already packaged, and it's about my adult life and re- recovering my identity after having been stripped of it under extreme duress by my father and being forced to live a double life to protect him because he was a fugitive of the law. And I'm just like going through it because it's a lot of reasons why I'm going through it, but I'm really going through it because number one reason I am so sick of myself. I don't know if that happens to any of you, but ugh, it's like uh, I just can't. It's just like I'm icky in my own skin. I'm sick of myself, and I think I'm bored, and because it's like so much introspection and so much. I'm doing all that inner work, and it's just a lot of it. And also another reason is because I've had to write about make myself a character, and um, it's different than writing a memoir. I have a memoir in submission at the moment, and I've gotten really good rejections on that, by the way. But anyway, it's still in submission, and the process of writing a memoir as myself was totally different because I wasn't a character. I was telling just like the you know exploring what had happened, truthfully what had happened, and I was me. So I had to relive a lot of stuff, but doing writing about myself in like for a script, I've literally had to rip the character out of me. It's been tough. Yeah, it's been really tough. But I got a script today from a dear friend. He's a very lovely writer and director. He's the only person I'll accept anything from right now because I'm so into my own work that I've really stopped editing for other people, but I'll always do it for him. His name is Michel Franco, and I've worked on his last five films. I've worked on his last five films with him, and he's a friend and someone I really respect. And his last two films, I'm credited as a script editor. They starred Jessica Chastain. She's who's one of my favorite actresses, and I didn't work with her like face to face, but I knew that I was contributing to something that she was going to perform. What an honor! She's awesome. And Tim Roth was in one of his last two films. I did work with Tim though, one very briefly for one afternoon, but for a long time, I like the whole afternoon. Just a lovely, lovely person. Very sweet, very sharp, incredibly sharp, very talented. That's a good memory. And yeah, I'm sure you can see some of his work like on Prime or I think there's something on YouTube movies actually, Netflix. Yeah, so I just got one of his scripts today, and I will be credited as script editor in this one as well. I don't know who's starring in it. We're going to talk later on today, and he'll be able to give me more tea. So that's like I'm so happy that happened because I'm like super sick of myself, and it's kind of crazy that I get this email from um, a guy named DeAndre. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Hi, DeAndre. And he asked me, and I'm paraphrasing. He asked me in an email like about my identity after recovering my identity. And that is something that we could talk about for years. I think that's the case for most people. But I will say where it started. Now, I had to fight for my identity. I had to find documentation about my original identity, That wasn't easy. I had to have FBI interviews. I had 3 FBI interviews. I was under great personal risk. My father had threatened to harm me. It was a very difficult time. So when I find that was the process of me getting my identity legally, let's say, like on paper, like I got her back, I got me back. And, it's very self explanatory. I got my identity back, I recovered myself, victory, all that stuff. But then the question is, who are you? Because I had been living a double identity for over a decade, almost 2 decades, and that'll it'll make you question, who are you? So of course, when I become Suzette Espinosa again, I had to give up the other identity because it's a felony. You can't be in possession of 2 different identities, because you could do a lot of harm with that. So I actually had to give one up, and I gave up Susana, um, in order to become myself again. And then the real work started on who was I. And I had to do it by myself, which meant that I went no contact with my parents. And just like a little side note, like I've realized that going no contact is like a thing now. Like it's becoming popular. Like people are like, when I did it, it was more than 20 years ago, and nobody was doing it. Now it seems to be more open, and I think that's a good thing, because I don't think anyone cuts off their family just because, or for jollies. There's a reason why that happens. And I've seen some parents go online saying, "Well, I don't know why they did it." There was a reason why, and maybe you don't know, but maybe you should find out. Listen to them. That's the side note. That was the hardest thing I had to do. I had become so codependent on the drama, the violent, the quiet violence going on, the very dysfunctional and toxic family dynamic. Everyone trying to garner my father's favor. All the brainwashing. I had become codependent on it, and I realized the only way I could start recovering my sense of self was by leaving that, and it was the hardest thing I ever did. I had done it. That was the first time I did it. I did it afterwards, again and again. It's like I was like an addict having to go back for my fix. Like I kept on trying to want to believe that there was some good from where I came from. And anyway, so that first time I went no contact, I was really forced to look at myself and sit with myself. And I was royally messed up. I mean, I had a raging eating disorder. Um, I was diagnosed with CPTSD. Complex post traumatic stress disorder is very difficult to treat. And so I began that started the very long voyage, which I'm still on, of healing that, of letting the trauma. You never really get rid of it, but you learn to adapt, and that's where it all started when I went no contact. So what I find really interesting about Deandra's question is that person who first went me, that person who first went no contact with my parents all those years ago for the first time, was a person who is not who I am today. And that's how it works, right? That's how it should always be. Who are we? Well, we're not. If you're doing life right, in my point of view, in my experience, if you are doing life right, you are not the person that you were even 6 months ago or a year ago. You are evolving into becoming a better person. And that requires a lot of accountability, and You have to do the work. You have to sit with yourself a lot. So I just thought it was pretty cool that DeAndre asked me this question while I'm going through this whole like I'm so sick of myself thing, because I'm writing about my life. And I think it's a very interesting um, thing that's going on now about kids going no contact. It's not to do, I think that people, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for those kids who are speaking up and doing what's right. I've been there, not easy. Because when you go no contact, not only do you discover things about yourself that you particularly probably won't like and that you know you have to change, but you're going to get a lot of crap from people. You may even lose your entire extended family. You may lose friends. You'll get questioned a lot. People will ask you why you're doing that. You always have to forgive family. Forgiveness has nothing to do with going no contact. I forgive my family. I forgive my father. I forgive my mom. Just don't want to have to see them because they're toxic. So, I mean, going no contact, if I could tell myself from then, like what going no contact would do, it's complete exclusion. You are excluded from the people that you love the most because people will take sides. So anyone who goes no contact in my book is incredibly brave. But that's where and oftentimes coming from families of great toxicity, that's when you're going to get to know yourself. The beginning of who you are, right? That was a great question. I'm still trying to figure out a lot of who I am. I have a pretty good idea. That's for another day. I'm sick of myself. It's another day, another time. I might go live later. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Much love.